The drama between Shari and Martell Holt has officially exploded into a full-blown legal war, after months of rumors, tension, and emotional confrontations. Melody has now taken the step many fans saw coming. She's sent a legal notice straight to Martell's doorstep. And this time, it's not just words. It's war. Yes, the woman who once tried to keep the peace is now standing her ground through the courts. Insiders say this legal notice isn't just a warning, it's the opening shot in what could become one of the most intense custody battles reality TV has ever seen. For months, we've watched their story unfold on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the arguments, the tears, the struggle to co-parent peacefully after a painful divorce. But behind the cameras, things have been getting worse, not better. And now, the truth is coming out. So what's really inside that legal notice? Why did Melody decide to make this move now? And how is Martell responding as whispers grow of a courtroom showdown that could change everything? Fans are already speculating. Is this about custody rights? A violation of court agreements? Or is it about something deeper? Something that's been boiling beneath the surface for months. In this video, we'll uncover everything we know so far, the details of the legal notice, the hidden motives behind it, and the explosive custody twist that has everyone talking. We'll also dive into the emotional toll this battle is taking, not just on Melody and Martell, but on their children, their families, and their fan base. And trust me, the reactions online are fierce. Some are standing firmly with Melody, praising her for protecting her peace and her children. Others are defending Martell, claiming he's being unfairly targeted. Social media is divided, rumors are swirling, and insiders say the courtroom may be the only place where this storm can finally be settled. This isn't just another argument or reality show storyline. This is real life, real pain, real legal action, and real consequences. And the next chapter of this fight might be the one that decides everything. Stay tuned, because we're breaking it all down from the shocking legal notice, to the courtroom whispers, and the fan reactions that have turned this into one of the most talked about reality show dramas of the year. To understand just how serious this new legal move is, we have to go back to the beginning, to the story of Shari and Martell Holt, a relationship that started with love, success, and dreams, but slowly unraveled into one of reality television's most painful and public breakups. Melody and Martell first captured audiences on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, as a power couple building businesses, raising a family, and showing the world what ambition and partnership looked like. Together, they seemed unstoppable. But behind the smiles and the cameras, cracks were forming, cracks that eventually shattered their marriage for the whole world to see. Their split became one of the most talked about storylines in reality TV. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the arguments, all played out in front of millions of viewers. Melody opened up about the emotional pain of infidelity, the struggle to rebuild trust, and the decision to walk away from a marriage that no longer felt safe or supportive. Martell, on the other hand, portrayed himself as a man trying to hold on to his family, even as the damage deepened. When the divorce finally became official, many thought that would be the end of the chaos. But for Melody and Martell, the end of their marriage was only the beginning of a new battle: custody. They share 4 beautiful children, and both have made it clear they want to be deeply involved in their lives. But co-parenting between two people with such a turbulent history hasn't been easy. Over the years, there have been tense exchanges, disagreements over schedules, and emotional confrontations that spilled out both on screen and online. Fans have watched them attempt to balance family and fame, but behind the scenes, the situation has often been far more complicated. Reports of miscommunication, missed handoffs, and disagreements about parenting decisions have circulated for months. Each side believes they're acting in the children's best interests, but their definitions of best don't always align. Melody has often spoken about wanting peace, stability, and boundaries. Martell, meanwhile, has voiced frustration over not having enough access or control, claiming he deserves equal rights as a father. What started as small disagreements has now grown into something much bigger, a full-scale legal confrontation. Sources close to the situation say this isn't the first time lawyers have been involved. But what makes this moment different is the tone. Melody's new legal notice suggests she's no longer willing to handle things quietly or behind closed doors. After years of emotional ups and downs, she appears ready to let the courts decide what co-parenting will look like going forward. And this new legal chapter comes at a time when tensions are already high. Social media followers have noticed subtle digs in posts, cryptic captions, and interviews that hint at deeper conflict. Some fans believe this legal notice could be a response to a specific incident, something recent that pushed Melody past her limit. Whatever the trigger, one thing is clear. This custody situation has reached a breaking point. The love story that once inspired so many has transformed into a legal battle that could redefine not only their relationship but also their futures as parents. And with both Melody and Martell being public figures, every step of this journey is unfolding under a microscope, every document, every post, every word becoming part of the larger narrative that the world is watching now. As this legal notice hits the table, all eyes are on what comes next. Will this lead to a courtroom showdown? Will either side seek full custody? And what does this mean for their children, caught between two parents who once built a dream together but are now fighting to control what remains of it? The whispers have now become official. Melody Shari has sent a legal notice to her ex-husband, Martell Holt, and this time, it's not just another argument or social media jab. This is a formal, written move, a signal that Melody is done negotiating through conversations and ready to let the courts take over. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the legal notice was delivered quietly but deliberately. It wasn't a surprise outburst or a spur-of-the-moment reaction. This was planned, strategic, and deeply emotional. Insiders say Melody has been consulting with her attorneys for weeks, possibly even months, before finally deciding to pull the trigger. So what's actually inside this legal notice? While the exact contents haven't been made public, those familiar with the situation believe it centers around custody rights, parenting schedules, and new conditions meant to protect both the children and Melody's peace of mind. For years, she's tried to co-parent with Grace, maintaining a careful balance between keeping the peace and standing her ground. But now, it appears that something has changed. Perhaps it was a disagreement that went too far, a boundary that was crossed, or simply the exhaustion of trying to make things work without legal clarity. Sources close to Melody suggest that the notice outlines a revised custody arrangement that sets stricter boundaries on communication and schedules. Requests for legal enforcement of parenting agreements to avoid future conflicts. Conditions related to what can and cannot be shared publicly about their children. And possibly, warnings about behavior or decisions that Melody feels are harmful or destabilizing to their co-parenting relationship. For Melody, this isn't about revenge, it's about protection. Protection for her peace, protection for her children, and protection from a cycle that she feels has gone on too long. Those who've followed her journey know she's been open about the emotional toll of her past with Martell, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the constant public scrutiny. After years of trying to move forward, she now appears determined to create clear lines that cannot be crossed. One insider close to the family reportedly said, Melody has reached the point where words aren't enough. She needs action, she needs structure, and she needs accountability. This notice is her way of saying enough, and the timing is no coincidence. Many fans believe this legal step may have been triggered by recent tension. Rumors of disagreements over the children's schedules, online posts that stirred public drama, and interviews where Martell has made statements about their co-parenting struggles. Melody, who has built a brand around resilience and self-empowerment, seems to be sending a message. She's done fighting battles on social media. From now on, it's going to be handled by the law. Legal experts say a notice like this is often a prelude to a bigger move, possibly a court filing for modification of custody, child support adjustments, or enforcement of existing orders. It's not necessarily an attack. It's a signal that the next chapter is going to be written in the courtroom, not the comments section. For Martell, this notice is a serious wake-up call. No matter how confident he's appeared in interviews, this legal development changes everything, because once lawyers are formally involved, every move, every word, every decision can become part of a case file, and for fans, it's both shocking and heartbreaking. The couple they once rooted for, who built a life, a family, and a legacy together are now communicating through legal documents. This isn't just another reality TV cliffhanger, it's a sign of just how deep the wounds run. Melody has chosen law over conflict, paper over argument, and structure over chaos. And for Martell Holt, this may be the battle he never wanted but can no longer avoid. When news of Melody's legal notice broke, the spotlight shifted instantly to Martell Holt, and the question on everyone's mind was the same. How would he respond? For a man who has built his reputation on confidence, charm, and control, this legal notice struck at the very heart of his public image. Viewers of Love and Marriage, Huntsville know Martell as someone who rarely backs down from confrontation, who speaks his mind boldly, and who often turns to social media to tell his side of the story. But this time, things feel different. Sources close to Martell say he was shocked by the notice. Some insiders claim he felt blindsided, insisting he believed their co-parenting had been improving. Others suggest he saw it coming but never thought Melody would follow through. Publicly, Martell has remained strategically quiet. There hasn't been an official statement, no interview yet addressing the legal move directly, but fans have noticed subtle clues, cryptic Instagram captions about truth always coming out and being misunderstood. In his world, silence often speaks louder than words. Behind the scenes, however, insiders describe a very different Martell, one caught between frustration and fear. According to reports, he's consulting closely with his own legal team, weighing whether to fight back or try to negotiate privately. Some sources claim he's determined to defend his rights as a father, insisting that no matter how tense things become, he won't walk away from his children. In the past, Martell has made it clear that fatherhood is his greatest pride. He's spoken about wanting equal custody, about being hands-on, about not letting the divorce dictate his role in his children's lives. But critics argue that his actions haven't always matched his words. Melody's supporters say this legal notice is proof that unresolved issues have reached a point where talk isn't enough. What makes Martell's position even more complicated is the court of public opinion. On social media, fans are split. Some call him manipulative, accusing him of playing the victim and using public sympathy to his advantage. Others defend him fiercely, saying he's a devoted father unfairly painted as the villain in a story with two sides. And as the online debates intensify, Martell's image continues to shift. Each post, each interview clip, each quiet moment is being dissected. Even his silence is being interpreted. Is it a sign of guilt or of strategy? Is he staying quiet to avoid worsening the legal case? Or because he's truly processing the weight of what's happening? Close friends describe him as determined but shaken. They say this legal move feels like a line in the sand, a signal that the relationship he once hoped could be repaired, at least for the sake of the children, is now being locked behind legal walls. For a man used to having control over his business, his image, and his narrative, being handed a formal legal notice is a powerful reminder that some things are now out of his hands. Still, Martell isn't someone who fades quietly. Insiders whisper that he's preparing his own response, possibly a legal counter or public statement that could reignite the battle in the press and online. And that's what makes this chapter so volatile. Because while Melody is moving quietly but firmly through legal channels, Martell stands at a crossroads. Will he fight back publicly, turning this into another public showdown? Or will he follow Melody's lead and let the lawyers do the talking? For now, the tension is heavy, the silence deafening, and the stakes higher than ever. Because this isn't just a custody battle, it's a battle of narratives, reputation, and control. And if Martell's next move is as dramatic as his past, the explosion might be only just beginning. The legal notice wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a spark. And now, that spark has ignited what insiders are calling a full-blown custody battle explosion between Melody Shari and Martell Holt. For years, the two have struggled to find balance as but this latest move signals that the situation has reached a breaking point. According to those close to the case, the issues go far deeper than just pickup times and weekend schedules. What's unfolding now is a fight over control, boundaries, and the future of their children's lives. Behind closed doors, lawyers are said to be working overtime, drafting proposals, reviewing old agreements, and preparing evidence that could tilt the balance in court. Melody's legal team is reportedly focused on stability and structure. They believe the children need consistency, emotional safety, and protection from the turbulence that's followed their parents for years. Melody's position is clear. She wants to shield them from drama, from public conflict, and from situations that could harm their sense of security. Martell, on the other hand, is said to be fighting for equal footing. He's pushing for shared custody, or even full custody, depending on what comes out in court. Insiders say he feels misunderstood, claiming he's always been a present, active father, and that he deserves a say in every aspect of his children's lives. To him, this isn't just a legal battle, it's a fight for identity, for validation, for the right to be seen as more than just the ex-husband in a messy story. But this fight isn't happening in silence. Every move, every rumor, every social media post fuels the fire. Online, fans are picking sides, dissecting old interviews, and posting clips from Love and Marriage, Huntsville, as evidence of who they believe is in the right. Some insist Melody's doing what any protective mother would do, Others argue Martell's being pushed out of his children's lives. And as the tension builds, whispers of courtroom drama are growing louder. There's talk of upcoming hearings, witness statements, and even possible demands for psychological evaluations. All standard steps in high-conflict custody cases. Legal experts say both sides could be required to present documentation of their parenting records, communication history, and lifestyle choices. Nothing is off limits once the courts step in. For Melody, this battle is about peace. She's fought hard to rebuild her life, to rise from heartbreak, to create a stable environment for her children. Friends say she's determined not to let the past continue to spill into their present. For Martell, this is about redemption. He's spoken before about mistakes he's made, but he's also emphasized his love and commitment as a father. Losing time or authority over his children would be a blow he's not willing to accept. But the real heartbreak lies in the middle, with the children. They're the silent witnesses to a war they never asked for, caught between two parents who both claim to be fighting for their best interests. And with the cameras rolling and the public watching, the pressure is unlike anything most families could imagine. Every statement can become a headline. Every emotion can be twisted into a narrative. Insiders warn that this case could drag on weeks, maybe months, with new revelations and dramatic turns. Some believe mediation might still be possible, but others say the wounds are too deep and the trust too broken. What's certain is that this isn't a simple disagreement. This is a battle over who gets to shape the future of 4 young lives, and what kind of relationship Melody and Martell will have from this point forward. The legal system will soon decide where the lines are drawn, but in the court of public opinion, the verdict is already being debated loudly, emotionally, and endlessly. And as both sides prepare for the next round, one thing is clear. The love story that began in partnership has now become a fight for parenthood, and the fallout will echo far beyond the courtroom walls. The moment news broke that Melody Shari had sent a legal notice to Martell Holt, the internet erupted. What started as a private legal move instantly turned into a public storm, a firestorm of opinions, emotions, and debates across every corner of social media. On Twitter, the story spread within hours. Hashtags like #MelodyShari, #Martell Holt, #CustodyBattle, and #LAMHDrama began trending. Fans, bloggers, and even reality TV insiders started weighing in. Some users praised Melody's decision, calling it long overdue. One viral tweet read, "Melody did what every strong mother would do, protect her peace and her kids. Enough is enough." Another echoed the sentiment, "You can only be pushed so far." This legal notice isn't about revenge, it's about boundaries. But not everyone agreed. Other voices defended Martell, arguing that he deserves equal rights and accusing the public of turning him into a villain. People love to drag Martell, but he's still their father. Custody battles should be fair, not emotional. Soon, Instagram filled with reaction posts and commentary videos. Fan pages posted throwback clips from Love and Marriage, Huntsville showing old arguments, emotional scenes, and moments when the tension between Melody and Martell was too heavy to ignore. Captions like "The signs were always there and we saw this" coming flooded timelines. Reality TV bloggers hosted live sessions dissecting every rumor. They replayed old interviews, pointed to subtle clues in social media captions, and debated what Melody's true motivation might be. Was it triggered by a specific incident? Was it part of a long-term plan to gain stability? On TikTok, the story went viral almost instantly. Short clips titled "Melody vs. Martell." The legal battle racked up millions of views. Content creators stitched footage from the show with dramatic commentary. You can't co-parent in chaos. At some point, you have to let the courts decide. Another creator countered, "These two need therapy, not more legal paperwork. The kids are the ones caught in the crossfire." Comment sections became battlegrounds. Team Melody argued she has endured years of emotional stress and is finally setting firm boundaries. Team Martell insisted he's being unfairly punished in the public eye and deserves respect for trying to stay involved. Even fellow reality stars and influencers joined the conversation, some showing support, others urging privacy. One popular commentator posted, "It's heartbreaking watching this play out publicly. Some things should be settled quietly, especially when children are involved." Meanwhile, fan emotions ran deep. Many expressed sadness over seeing a once loving couple now locked in legal conflict. Others admitted they couldn't look away. The story has become one of the most gripping reality dramas of the year. Facebook groups dedicated to love and marriage, Huntsville filled with thousands of comments analyzing every development. Some users shared personal experiences with custody battles, empathizing with Melody's need for structure. Others criticized both sides for letting their conflict become entertainment across all platforms. One theme kept emerging: heartbreak. Heartbreak that two people who once shared dreams and built a family are now exchanging legal documents. Heartbreak that for children are growing up in the glare of public opinion. Still, the fascination remains unstoppable. Every post, every rumor, every update is met with a new wave of discussion. Fans refresh their feeds daily, waiting for the next move, a statement, a court date, a response from either side. And as the debate rages on, one thing is clear: this isn't just a storyline anymore. It's a real-life drama unfolding in real time. And the world is watching, analyzing, judging, empathizing, and taking sides. For Melody and Martell, the battle is personal. For fans, it's become a mirror reflecting love, loss, pride, and the painful cost of public life. And as social media continues to buzz, one question keeps echoing through the noise: who's truly fighting for what's best, and who's just trying to win? As the legal papers are filed and the court dates inch closer, one thing is becoming clear: this custody battle isn't just about parenting, it's about power, perception, and legacy. For Melody, Shari, and Martell Holt, their relationship has never existed in private. From the moment they stepped into the spotlight on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, their lives became open books, every argument, every tear, every triumph broadcast for the world to see. But now, the lines between reality television and real life are blurring in ways that neither could have imagined. This new legal war has the potential to reshape everything: their personal lives, their careers, and the future of the show itself. Melody has carefully built her post-divorce identity as a businesswoman, singer, and motivational figure. Her brand centers on strength, independence, and healing. A courtroom battle could test that image, showing her resolve, yes, but also reopening old wounds. Supporters see her as a role model for women reclaiming their power. Critics warn that ongoing conflict might overshadow her other achievements. Martell, meanwhile, has been working to rebuild his reputation after years of public criticism. He's appeared on podcasts, launched business ventures, and tried to present himself as a devoted father. But a drawn-out legal fight could reignite the old narrative, painting him once again as combative and unstable. Industry insiders whisper that his next moves, both in court and in public, will determine whether he's seen as a victim of unfair scrutiny or the author of his own downfall. Then there's Love and Marriage. Huntsville. The show thrives on authentic emotion and high-stakes drama, but this situation cuts deeper than ratings. Producers must walk a fine line, documenting the truth without exploiting pain. Will Melody and Martell continue filming together? Will legal restrictions limit what can be shown? Fans are already speculating that upcoming seasons could revolve around the fallout, turning the courtroom into the new stage beyond the show. This case is sparking bigger questions about co-parenting in the public eye. How much of private life should be shared with an audience? When does transparency turn into exposure? And what happens to children who grow up with their parents' conflicts trending online? Social commentators point out that Melody and Martell's story mirrors the struggles of many modern families where love turns into rivalry and healing requires boundaries, not just apologies. Their journey is forcing viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about pride, forgiveness, and the limits of reality television. Some legal experts suggest the case could even influence future custody disputes among reality stars. As more celebrities share their lives on camera, courts may have to decide whether on-screen behavior should affect custody decisions. Could public arguments or filmed confrontations become evidence? Could social media posts sway judges? And at the heart of it all are for children, innocent, caught in a storm they never created. Every headline, every trending hashtag, every whispered rumor adds pressure to an already fragile situation. Both Melody and Martell insist they're fighting for what's best. But the path to peace is tangled with emotion, ego, and public scrutiny. So what happens now? Will they reach a private settlement, quietly redefining their co-parenting roles? Or will this explode into a televised courtroom saga that redefines their legacies? Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain: this battle is bigger than custody. It's about identity, respect, and the high cost of living life in the spotlight. For Melody, it's a test of strength and boundaries. For Martell, a fight for redemption and recognition. For fans, a reminder that behind the glamour and gossip, real families are struggling to rebuild from broken trust. And as the world watches, the final question lingers. Can two people who once built a life together find common ground, or will the courtroom decide what love, forgiveness, and family look like from now on? And now that all the details are out, the legal notice, the court tension, the fan reactions, and the bigger picture, one thing is undeniable. This is more than a headline. This is a family in crisis. A love story turned battleground. And a reminder that when the cameras stop rolling, the pain is still real. Melody Shari's decision to send a legal notice marks a turning point, not just in her relationship with Martell Holt, but in how both of them will move forward as parents, public figures, and people. It's a sign that the wounds from their marriage haven't fully healed, and that the fight for peace now runs through the courtroom. Martell's response, quiet, cautious, and possibly strategic, tells us this battle is far from over. Whether he chooses to fight back publicly or privately, the next steps could change everything from custody arrangements to their reputations in the eyes of fans who've followed every chapter of their story. But behind the legal paperwork and public debates lie the true stakes, their children. They are the ones living through this storm, watching as the world picks sides. And no matter who the court rules in favor of, both parents will have to face the lasting impact of these choices. So now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Melody made the right decision by taking things to court? Is Martell being unfairly portrayed? Or is this accountability long overdue? And do you believe reality TV fame makes these conflicts worse, or simply exposes what would have happened anyway? Drop your thoughts down below, don't hold back. I'll be reading your comments and featuring the most thoughtful ones in our next update. And if you believe this story deserves to be told, honestly and respectfully, hit like to show your support. Share this video so more fans can join the conversation. And subscribe to stay updated on every new twist in Melody and Martell's legal journey. Because this isn't just about drama, it's about truth, healing, and what happens when love, pride, and pain collide in the public eye. Stay tuned, because as we've seen before, in the world of Melody and Martell, every ending is just the beginning of a new chapter.